re-engineered ourselves. What if the very thing that frustrated you today is the reason tomorrow gets better? Purpose: reframe perceived bad days through a lens of hidden gratitude. Chapter 1: The Power of Perspective. What you see is what you feel. We've all had those days: the coffee spills, the traffic crawls, the email doesn't get answered, or worse, a loved one says something hurtful. And when it all piles up, it feels like life is out to get us. But what if it isn't? What if life isn't punishing us but positioning us? What if every small frustration is simply a hidden invitation to see differently? What you see is what you feel. This isn't just a poetic phrase, it's the foundational truth of how our inner lens filters the outer world. When we wear the glasses of stress, every glance reveals a mess. But when we clean the lens with gratitude, what once looked like a disaster begins to glimmer with purpose. The shift from reaction to reflection. Most of us react instinctively to discomfort. Someone cuts us off in traffic. We flare with irritation. A colleague forgets to credit our work. We feel diminished. But what if the initial sting isn't the end of the story? What if it's the beginning of a lesson in patience, assertiveness, or trust? Gratitude invites us to pause before reacting. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we begin asking, "What could this be teaching me?" This subtle shift from reaction to reflection transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary revelations. The frustrating becomes fruitful. The minor inconvenience becomes a mighty lesson. And through this lens, life becomes less of a battlefield and more of a classroom, always offering growth, wisdom, and deeper awareness. When small things aren't so small. Have you ever lost your keys, only to find them minutes later, and then realized you avoided a car accident or met someone meaningful because of the delay? These moments aren't just coincidences, they're clues. Clues that life is whispering something larger. The things that irritate us often reroute us to something better. Start practicing this mindset. When something inconvenient happens, say quietly to yourself, "There's a blessing here, I just can't see it yet." This one affirmation is a subliminal trigger for calm, faith, and mental clarity. It softens your frustration and opens a window to grace. The science behind seeing differently. Psychologists call it cognitive reframing, the ability to shift how we interpret a situation. When we reframe a frustration into a lesson, we reduce cortisol, stress hormone, and increase dopamine and oxytocin, the feel-good and bonding hormones. This means that gratitude is not just a virtue, it's a wellness tool. In truth, what we see in life is largely dictated by what we expect to see. If we expect frustration, we find it. If we expect growth, we begin to find meaning in even the toughest challenges. A personal story: the rain that saved me. Let me tell you about a time I was late to an important interview. I'd spent days preparing. That morning, everything went wrong. My alarm didn't go off. I spilled tea on my shirt. And just as I rushed out the door, it began to pour. Not just a drizzle, a full monsoon. I was drenched, panicked, and 15 minutes late. When I arrived, I was sure I'd blown it. But as I sat waiting to apologize, the interviewer arrived, also drenched, and laughing. "Crazy rain, right?" she said. That moment broke the tension. We connected over our mutual chaos, and instead of a formal interview, we had an honest conversation. I got the job. Had it not been for the frustrating chain of events, I wouldn't have shown up as my most authentic self. What felt like a bad day was actually setting the stage for something far more human, real, and beautiful. Daily practice: change your lens. Here's a simple exercise to practice gratitude-driven perspective each day. Morning mantra: upon waking, say, "Today, I choose to see blessings, even in disguise." Midday pause: when you feel frustrated, whisper, "This is temporary. Let me see the gift." Evening reflection: Before sleep, ask, what frustrated me today, and what might it be teaching me? Jot down your answers in a notebook. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns. Certain bad days may actually be breakthroughs in disguise. Your feelings are valid, but they're not final. This chapter isn't asking you to suppress your emotions or pretend that life is perfect. Frustration is real. Disappointment is real. But they don't have to be your final interpretation. You are allowed to feel anger, pain, sadness, and still seek gratitude. In fact, gratitude becomes most powerful when it walks alongside discomfort. It's not the opposite of frustration, it's the healing companion. It doesn't deny pain, it brings perspective to it. Subliminal seeds of enrichment. As you finish this chapter, a few truths are quietly taking root in you. You are not your frustration. Every irritation carries a hidden invitation. Life is not breaking you, it's building you. Let these affirmations play like background music in your mind. Everything serves me. This moment is teaching me to grow. Gratitude is my compass, even in chaos. You don't need to control every situation, you just need to choose your perspective. That power alone can change your day, your story, and ultimately, your life. In closing, a new way to see the world. From now on, may you walk through your day knowing that what frustrates you could also be what frees you. That behind every bad moment is a blessing waiting to be revealed. So the next time you feel annoyed, disrespected, or disappointed, take a breath and ask, what if this is exactly what I needed to become who I'm meant to be? That's the power of perspective. That's the beginning of gratitude reconciliation. That's the real miracle. You get to choose what today means. Chapter 2, The Emotional Alchemy, Turning Pain into Peace. There's something alchemical about gratitude, it transforms. Not in a magical, make it disappear kind of way, but in a soul-deep shift that turns emotional heaviness into something lighter, warmer, and deeply healing. This process, what we call emotional alchemy, is the art of turning pain into peace. Pain is inevitable. Disappointment, betrayal, embarrassment, and stress visit all of us. But the question is not whether pain will come, it's whether we will let it shape us, or shatter us. Gratitude is the secret ingredient in shaping. From raw emotion to refined meaning. Imagine your emotions as raw gold ore. In its natural state, it's messy, unrefined, even painful to the touch. But inside that mess is treasure. Gratitude is the fire that purifies. It's the mindful pause that asks, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What is the wisdom beneath the wound? This doesn't mean minimizing pain or pretending everything's fine. Emotional alchemy begins with acknowledgement. We must sit with the discomfort before we can shift it. When we say, this hurt, this angered me, this disappointed me, we give our inner selves permission to be honest. And honesty is the doorway to peace. The next step? Ask yourself, how might this serve me in the long run? What part of me is being invited to grow? What will I choose to believe about this moment? These are not easy questions. But they're liberating. They reframe pain as a teacher. And that reframing is where alchemy begins. The gratitude trigger, a bridge between worlds. When you're in pain, gratitude might feel impossible. In fact, it might even feel insulting. But that's because we think gratitude means approval. It doesn't. You don't have to like what happened. You don't have to say, thank you for hurting me. Emotional alchemy says something far more powerful. Even though this hurts, I believe something meaningful can come from it. This belief acts like a bridge. On one side of the bridge is pain, resentment, confusion. On the other side, clarity, strength, insight. Gratitude doesn't invalidate pain, it builds the bridge to rise above it. One of the most potent phrases to use in this moment is, I trust this discomfort is not permanent, and something inside me is being made new. Let that sink in. You're not denying pain. You're dignifying your transformation. Micro moments of alchemy, where it really happens. You don't need a massive life breakthrough to begin practicing emotional alchemy. In fact, the real magic happens in micro moments. You're overlooked in a meeting. Rightward arrow. Pause, breathe. Ask, what can I give myself today that I was seeking from them? Your child throws a tantrum. Rightward arrow. Pause. Ask, what is this teaching me about patience and presence? You receive criticism. Rightward arrow. Pause. Ask, is there a grain of truth here that can help me grow stronger? Each small shift plants a seed. And when enough seeds take root, a garden of peace begins to bloom where chaos once ruled. The Gratitude Journal Ritual, anchoring the alchemy. One of the most practical tools for emotional alchemy is gratitude journaling. But not just listing what you're thankful for when life is good. That's easy. The real work is in writing down what you learned from the painful parts. Try this format nightly. Name the frustration, what irritated or upset you today. Name the feeling, what emotion did it trigger. Name the growth, what did you learn? How did you respond differently than you might have in the past? Plant the seed, what new belief are you choosing? Here's an example entry. Frustration, my friend cancelled plans last minute. Feeling, rejected and unimportant. Growth, I realized I've been depending too much on external validation. New belief, I am whole and valued, even when others change course. This practice doesn't erase pain. It integrates it. It helps you carry it differently with grace instead of bitterness. Real life example, a letter that was never sent. Let me share a story. Anna, a client of mine, was ghosted by someone she deeply trusted. No explanation. Just silence. For weeks she oscillated between rage and tears. But then, she sat down to write a letter. Not to send but to understand. In the letter, she didn't hold back. She poured her heart out. Then something shifted. At the bottom of the letter, almost without thinking, she wrote, "Thank you for disappearing. Because it reminded me how much I needed to come back to myself." That moment marked her alchemical turning point. The pain was still there but it no longer controlled her. She reclaimed her power. She let gratitude gently reshape her story. When nothing makes sense, gratitude still can. Some days will come when nothing feels redeemable. A tragedy strikes. A relationship ends. A health scare looms. These moments test the deepest layers of our being. In these moments, emotional alchemy asks us to zoom out, to trust that what feels senseless now may one day be our source of strength. Here's a truth to repeat often, especially on the hard days. I may not understand the why today, but I trust it is part of something holy, healing, and whole. That is gratitude's whisper. And it carries you even when your voice shakes. Subliminal seeds of self-enrichment. As you read this, a deeper truth is gently rooting inside you. You are allowed to feel deeply without being defined by pain. Your emotions are not flaws, they are sacred messengers. Gratitude doesn't ignore reality, it upgrades your experience of it. Let these affirmations echo in the background of your life. I am alchemizing every emotion into empowerment. I am safe to feel, and safe to transform. Peace is my new response, and gratitude is my new reflex. Even now, as you sit with the words in this chapter, your nervous system is softening. Your breath is deepening. Your heart is opening. This is emotional alchemy in real time. Closing reflection, the inner gold. The next time you face something frustrating, ask yourself, what if this isn't here to hurt me, but to help me purify something inside me? That's what emotional alchemy is. Not avoiding the fire, but stepping into it with the belief that you'll emerge as gold. Because you will. And in the process, you won't just feel lighter. You'll become a light for others. Chapter 3, The Gratitude Mirror, reflecting on why you reacted. Every emotional reaction is a reflection. Not just of the moment, not just of the other person, but of you. Of your history, your values, your unmet needs, and your silent beliefs. Reactions are not random, they are revelations. And within every overreaction, irritation, or outburst, there is a mirror quietly asking, what inside of me is being stirred? This chapter is about using that mirror not to shame yourself, but to see yourself more clearly. Gratitude, when used as a mirror, doesn't scold, it softens. It opens a space for self-inquiry that is kind, curious, and profoundly liberating. The first step, replace judgment with curiosity. Let's say someone criticizes your work in front of others, and you feel instantly defensive. Your heart races, your breath shortens, and anger simmers. It's tempting to judge yourself afterward. Why am I so sensitive? I should be more professional. What's wrong with me? Pause. This is not the time for judgment. This is the time for curiosity. Instead ask, why did this moment affect me so deeply? What old wound might be connected to this feeling? Is there something here that needs attention, not repression? Gratitude comes in when you say, thank you, reaction, for showing me where I still need to heal. That shift from criticism to curiosity is a sacred move toward self-awareness. The emotional echo, reactions are echoes from the past. Many of our intense reactions have little to do with what's happening now. They're echoes triggered by something unresolved from before. A parent who dismissed your emotions. A teacher who embarrassed you in class. A friend who betrayed your trust. And then years later, someone makes a comment and boom, your nervous system time travels. You're not just reacting to this moment. You're reacting to every similar moment stored in your emotional memory bank. But here's the beautiful news, once you become aware of this, you can stop being hijacked by the past. You can thank the reaction for revealing an old scar and begin to tend to it with compassion. Gratitude, in this context, is saying, thank you for reminding me what still needs gentle healing. The hidden compass, values behind your emotions. Every strong reaction also reveals something sacred, your values. If someone speaks disrespectfully and you flare up, it may be because you deeply value kindness. If you feel unseen in a relationship, it may be because you value connection and intimacy. These aren't weaknesses, they're guides. Start seeing emotional reactions not as flaws to fix, but as signals of what matters most to you. Ask yourself, what value is being threatened in this moment? How can I honor that value without harming myself or others? This is where gratitude gently whispers, thank you, emotion, for reminding me of who I truly am. Suddenly, even anger becomes sacred. Even sadness becomes insightful. You begin to trust your emotions not as enemies, but as inner guides. Real-life reflection, the email that opened a door. Let me share a true story. Darren, a project manager, received a harsh email from a colleague late one Friday evening. It was critical, dismissive, and copied to others. He was livid. That night, he barely slept, consumed by scenarios of how to respond or retaliate. But the next morning, something shifted. He sat down, breathed, and asked, why did this bother me so much? What story am I telling myself? He realized that it wasn't just about the email. It touched something deeper, an old pattern of being overlooked, of not being good enough. The email became a mirror, not a battlefield. Instead of reacting defensively, he responded thoughtfully. He even thanked the colleague for raising the concerns and invited a one-on-one conversation to align goals. That meeting led to better communication and unexpectedly, a deeper respect between them. His gratitude didn't erase the discomfort. It redirected it toward growth. The gentle mirror practice, nightly reflection for growth. Here's a practice you can use each night to turn your reactions into revelations. Recall a moment, think back to one emotional reaction you had during the day. Name the emotion. What did you feel? Anger, embarrassment, fear, etc. Look in the mirror, ask. What does this say about my needs or values? Did this remind me of a past wound or story? What is this emotion teaching me? Give thanks, say, even softly in your heart. Thank you, emotion, for pointing me towards something I needed to see. Over time, this ritual rewires your brain. Instead of avoiding or overreacting, you begin to witness. And from that place, wisdom grows. You are not your reactions, you are the one who sees. This is the most powerful truth of this chapter. You are not your frustration. You are not your jealousy, your rage, or your sadness. You are the one who observes them. And the one who observes can choose. Gratitude helps you separate your identity from your emotion. You don't become the anger, you acknowledge it. You don't drown in the sadness, you listen to it. From this empowered position, even your most intense reactions become places of peace. You become less reactive, more responsive. Less triggered, more curious. And slowly, your life softens. Subliminal messages of reconciliation and growth. As this chapter lands in your heart, let it plant these invisible truths. Every emotional spike is a sacred signal. Your past may inform your reaction, but it does not define your identity. Curiosity, not condemnation, leads to inner freedom. Gratitude doesn't sugarcoat your experience, it helps you see clearly through it. Let these quiet affirmations rise within you. Every emotion is a message, and I am listening with love. My reactions are opportunities for reflection. I thank the mirror of life for helping me see my inner truth. Closing reflection, thank you, reaction. Next time you overreact, don't panic. Don't judge. Just pause. Look in the mirror. And say quietly, thank you for showing me where I'm still becoming. That's how gratitude becomes a teacher. That's how frustration becomes freedom. That's how you begin to live with deep, courageous self-awareness. Chapter 4. Blessings in disguise when setbacks are setups. Life has a mysterious way of rerouting us. One day, you're confident in your path, moving steadily forward, and then suddenly, a door slams shut. A relationship ends. An opportunity vanishes. A mistake leaves you rattled. These moments feel like betrayals of your effort, your planning, even your faith. But what if they're not betrayals at all? What if they're setups quietly preparing you for something better, something more aligned, something truly meant for you? This chapter is about looking back at your setbacks and beginning to see the divine fingerprints on them. It's about rewriting your understanding of failure and seeing frustration as a messenger, not an enemy. Because often, the thing that blocks your way is the very thing that leads you home. The pattern of purpose, why detours happen. Have you ever missed a bus only to meet someone helpful on the next one? Or gotten rejected from one job, only to land one that fits you far better? These moments aren't coincidences, they're subtle corrections. Setbacks often arise not to delay your progress but to deepen your wisdom. Life sometimes says no to good things because a great thing is waiting. But we must develop the sight to see it. When viewed through the lens of gratitude, every delay, rejection, or detour becomes a kind of training. A divine whisper. Not this. Not yet. Trust me. A story from the storm, when a dream collapsed. Let me share the story of James, a man who poured his savings into launching a small cafe. He spent months designing the menu, branding the space, and hiring staff. The opening day came, and so did the pandemic lockdown. Within 2 months, he had to shut down. He was devastated. For weeks, he sank into hopelessness. Then, one night, he picked up a pen and wrote in his journal, "Maybe this isn't the end. Maybe this is a redirection." That thought became his lifeline. He started selling his baked goods online. Sales grew. Word spread. A year later, he opened a home-based delivery business that far outperformed his cafe. Today, he teaches other struggling entrepreneurs how to pivot with purpose. James told me, "Losing my cafe was the worst thing that ever happened to me." Setbacks as mirrors, revealing what matters most. Setbacks have a way of stripping away illusions. They show us what we really care about, what we've outgrown, and where we've been clinging too tightly. A layoff might reveal that you were surviving, not thriving. A breakup might show that you were settling, not soaring. A financial setback might awaken a creative solution you would have never found in comfort. Gratitude doesn't mean you're glad for the pain. It means you're awake to the message in the pain. You're willing to say, "Seedling, this broke something open in me. And I'm listening." 3 questions to turn setbacks into setups. The next time life doesn't go as planned, pause and ask yourself, what is this setback removing from my life that I may have outgrown? Sometimes, it's not rejection, it's release. What new strength or resource is being called forth in me? Is it resilience? Creativity? Humility? If this is happening for me, not to me, what could it be setting up? Could this be redirecting me to a better path? These questions don't erase the sting, but they soften it. They plant seeds of insight that grow into transformation. The art of surrender, letting go with grace. One of the hardest parts of a setback is not the fall, it's the fight. The mental wrestling with what should have been. The resistance to accepting what is. But surrender is not giving up. It's giving into the rhythm of life. It's trusting that even when you don't understand the timing, you are still on time. That grace is working behind the scenes. One of the most powerful affirmations you can say in moments of loss is, "I release what is no longer aligned. I trust what is meant for me is already on its way." That sentence is not just a prayer, it's a perspective shift. A reset. A doorway into peace. The butterfly lesson, pressure before flight. There's a reason butterflies must struggle to emerge from their cocoons. If someone cuts the cocoon to help them, their wings won't develop strength. The struggle is the setup for flight. You are no different. Every time you think you're being held back, you're being invited to grow wings of patience, self-belief, courage, or vision. Trust that your frustration today may be building the emotional muscles you'll need for tomorrow's breakthroughs. Subliminal anchors, let these truths take root. As you breathe through this chapter, let these soft yet powerful truths take hold. Not all closed doors are punishments. Some are protections. You don't have to know the purpose to trust there is one. Life is not against you. It is reshaping you to rise. Whisper these affirmations often, especially during hard moments. Every ending is the beginning of something wiser. What I thought I needed was only a shadow of what's truly coming. I am being gently rerouted to a better alignment. These words act like balm. Like a compass. Like a rope in the dark, gently pulling you toward the light. Closing reflection, the gift wrapped in disguise. Setbacks sting. They confuse. They humble. But they also recalibrate. The door that didn't open was not your final option, it was just a signpost saying, this way leads elsewhere. So the next time life says no, try whispering, "Thank you for the redirection. I trust there's something here I can't yet see." That's not denial. That's vision. That's spiritual maturity. That's gratitude in action. Because often, what feels like the end is actually a quiet beginning in disguise. Chapter 5: Rewriting the Inner Narrative from Victim to Visionary. Every person carries a silent narrator inside, a voice that interprets life's moments, tells you what events mean, and defines how you see yourself. That voice is your inner narrative. The problem? For most people, it's not a conscious one. It's reactive, self-critical, and often shaped by past hurts. When something frustrates you, that voice might say, "I'm always being disrespected. Nothing ever works out for me. This is just my bad luck again." But what if we could rewrite that voice? What if, instead of reinforcing powerlessness, your inner story affirmed growth, resilience, and strength? This is the heart of Chapter 5, transforming your inner narrative from one of victimhood to one of visionary purpose. It's not just about changing words, it's about changing the lens through which you interpret every frustration, every misstep, and every moment. The victim story: how it starts and why it sticks. Victim stories often begin with real pain. A betrayal. A failure. A repeated rejection. Over time, we form a belief to protect ourselves: "This always happens to me." This belief may feel comforting at first, it gives the brain a sense of certainty and a reason for pain. But soon, it becomes a cage. It filters every experience through a lens of defeat and diminishes your personal power. What's more dangerous is that you start to expect pain. You anticipate failure. And you subtly self-sabotage just to prove your belief true. Here's the truth. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become next. Visionary thinking: reclaiming your narrative. A visionary doesn't deny their pain. They don't pretend frustrations don't hurt. But they do ask, "What is the higher meaning here? How can I use this moment to deepen my strength? What version of me is trying to emerge through this difficulty?" This shift from victim to visionary doesn't happen overnight. It happens word by word, belief by belief. And it begins with one bold decision: to tell a new story. Here's an example of how that story shift looks in real time. Victim story. Visionary story. People always take advantage of me. I am learning to set clear boundaries and honor my worth. Everything I do fails. Each setback refines my path and strengthens my purpose. I can't trust anyone. I trust myself to choose wisely and heal when things don't work out. Do you see the power in those words? You're not denying reality, you're redefining it. The inner script: words become reality. Your thoughts create your emotional reality. They affect how you feel, how you act, and ultimately, the outcomes you create. And your inner script, the habitual words you say to yourself, becomes the blueprint of your self-concept. Gratitude helps rewrite that script. Not forced or fake gratitude, but the kind that says, "This moment may be hard, but I'm grateful for what it's waking up inside me. This hurt, but it's showing me where I'm growing stronger. This disappointment is reminding me to dream deeper, not smaller." Each time you reframe the narrative, you build a new mental path. And as neuroscience confirms, the brain adapts. Over time, your inner narrator becomes wiser, kinder, and more visionary. Real-life example: a new story after a career collapse. Let's talk about Clara. She worked for 18 years in a senior role at a large company. When restructuring happened, she was let go suddenly and without ceremony. At first, her inner voice screamed, "I'm worthless without this job. I've wasted nearly 2 decades. No one will want me now. But Clara made a decision that changed her life. She started a daily journal where she rewrote those thoughts. Every morning, she wrote, "This transition is an invitation to realign with what excites me. My value is not attached to a title. I am being guided to something greater than I imagined." Within 6 months, she launched a consultancy helping women navigate career transitions. She told me, "Losing my job gave me back my voice." This is the power of rewriting the inner narrative. The Inner Author Ritual, a practice to rewire the story. Try this nightly or whenever you feel disheartened. Identify the frustration, what happened today that upset or discouraged you. Notice the default narrative, what did your inner voice say? Be honest. Pause. Breathe. Shift. Ask. What else could be true? What am I learning from this? What does the strongest version of me believe right now? Write the new story, reframe the narrative into one of growth, power, and vision. Here's a sample. Old, nobody appreciates my efforts. New, I am learning to speak up, honor my work, and choose environments where I'm valued. Let this become your daily ritual of self-liberation. Subliminal empowerment, planting seeds of strength. As this chapter works through you, allow these deeper truths to take root. You are the narrator of your life. Frustration doesn't define your future, it refines your clarity. A single new thought can rewire an old belief. Gratitude is your ally in becoming the version of yourself you've been waiting for. Let these affirmations become your internal soundtrack. I am the author of my truth. Each challenge edits my life into something more meaningful. My story is evolving in beautiful, unexpected ways. Closing reflection, from breakdowns to breakthroughs. The next time frustration visits, ask yourself, what story am I telling right now? Is it making me smaller, or stronger? Then choose boldly, lovingly to tell the version that lifts you. The one that empowers you. The one that turns even the darkest chapter into a turning point. You're not stuck. You're just one rewritten sentence away from seeing everything differently. That's not fantasy. That's your new truth. And gratitude is the ink that helps you write it. Chapter 6, Nightly Reconciliation Ritual, ending the day with thank you. How you end your day is just as important as how you begin it. The hours before sleep are sacred. They're a natural gateway between the conscious and subconscious, a time when your mind is most open, your heart most tender, and your thoughts most impressionable. What you choose to focus on in those quiet moments shapes your sleep, your dreams, and your mindset for the day to come. Yet too many of us go to bed replaying frustrations, the tense conversation, the missed opportunity, the email left unanswered, the to-do list that grew instead of shrank. Without realizing it, we carry that emotional clutter into our rest. We fall asleep not in peace, but in pieces. That's where the nightly reconciliation ritual comes in. This chapter invites you to create a deeply personal, soothing evening practice that reframes your day with compassion and closes each night with a whisper of gratitude. It's not about ignoring what went wrong, it's about integrating what happened and releasing what no longer needs to stay. Why nighttime matters, the science and the soul. Your brain enters a different state at night. As your body prepares for rest, your conscious defenses soften, and your subconscious becomes more receptive. In this liminal space, the stories you tell yourself sink in deeper. That's why going to sleep with unresolved frustrations often leads to restless nights, anxious dreams, or waking with dread. But going to sleep with reconciliation, even small, quiet reconciliation, allows your mind and body to enter restoration. It nurtures trust in life, forgiveness of self, and emotional clarity. Sleep becomes not just rest, but renewal. Saying thank you before sleep is not just a spiritual gesture, it's a psychological reset. The 4-step nightly reconciliation ritual. You don't need candles or meditation cushions, though they're welcome. All you need is your presence, your honesty, and your willingness to see the day through a new lens. Step 1. Breathe and arrive. Before anything, sit or lie down in stillness. Place one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Inhale peace, exhale the day. Let your body know, it's safe now. You're home. Step 2. Reflect without judgment. Ask yourself, what were the moments today that felt heavy or frustrating? What did I struggle with emotionally? Where did I feel misunderstood, tired, or off balance? Write them down or simply acknowledge them. Don't analyze. Don't justify. Just name them. This act alone is healing. It signals to your inner self, I see you. I hear you. Step 3. Reframe with gentle gratitude. Now, ask, what might this frustration be trying to teach me? Did something good come out of something that annoyed me? Is there a silver thread of growth or grace hidden in the mess? For example, a tough meeting may have taught you to speak more clearly. A traffic jam may have given you unexpected time to reflect. A miscommunication may have revealed an area needing clarity. Write or speak one sentence of gratitude for each frustration. Not fake gratitude. Gentle, honest gratitude. Thank you, traffic, for slowing me down to think. Thank you, tension, for reminding me what I value. Step 4. Close with an affirming phrase. End your ritual with a phrase that anchors peace in your soul. Choose one of your own or try. I forgive the day. I trust tomorrow. All is well, and all is being made new. I am thankful for what is, and hopeful for what will be. Then, rest. Let go. Let the day fall away like leaves from a tree. Even if you're tired, this still works. Some nights, you'll feel too tired to reflect. That's okay. Even one breath of gratitude is enough. One whispered thank you. One moment of choosing peace over replaying the day's chaos. Let it be simple. Let it be sacred. This practice is not about perfection. It's about presence. Real life story, healing the day in 10 minutes. Maria, a full-time nurse and mother of 2, came to me overwhelmed. She said, I end each day feeling like I failed at work, at home, at everything. I dread going to bed because I feel so heavy. We created her version of the nightly reconciliation ritual. 10 minutes before bed, she locked herself in the bathroom, the only private space she had, lit a small candle, and reflected on her day. At first, she cried each night. But after a week, she began to smile. One night she wrote, I yelled at my son today, but I also hugged him and told him I loved him. That's a win. 3 months later, she said, I'm still tired, but now I go to bed proud of how I'm showing up. I'm healing myself one bedtime at a time. Subliminal enrichment, what you're really doing. Every time you choose to reconcile your day with gratitude, even gently, you are doing the following. Reclaiming your energy from negative loops. Teaching your nervous system that you are safe. Rewiring your brain to see growth instead of failure. Cultivating self-compassion and emotional clarity. Preparing your heart to dream boldly again. Let these truths bloom beneath the surface as you practice. I carry no guilt into my sleep. Every night is a chance to begin again. I am proud of how I handled today, even in my imperfections. These are more than affirmations. They are instructions to your soul. Customize it, your own sacred closure. Feel free to tailor your ritual. Here are some additions you might try. Light a candle to symbolize release. Play soft music to invite emotional unwinding. Use a journal prompt like, "What do I want to carry forward from today?" Speak your reflection aloud to a mirror or a photo of your younger self. Make it yours. Make it real. Let this ritual become a gentle bridge between the you of today and the you of tomorrow. Closing reflection, ending the day, not the story. Each night is not the conclusion of your story. It's simply a comma in your sentence. A pause. A place to breathe, reflect, and whisper, "I'm still here. I'm still growing." So tonight, when the lights dim and the world quiets down, do this. Place your hand on your heart. Take a breath. And say, "Thank you, today. I did my best." Because you did. And that's enough. Tomorrow, you'll rise not carrying your burdens, but holding your blessings. That's the power of a nightly reconciliation ritual. That's how peace begins right before you drift into dreams. Chapter 7, The Gift of Difficult People Growth Through Discomfort. There's a saying that goes, some people come into your life as blessings. Others come as lessons. But what if those who come as lessons are, in truth, the deepest blessings of all? We all know what it feels like to be rubbed the wrong way by someone. The overly critical boss. The passive-aggressive colleague. The friend who always finds fault. The family member who pushes every button you have. Difficult people test our patience, shake our composure, and often make us question our sense of peace. But behind the irritation, the friction, and the emotional charge lies a profound opportunity for self-discovery. For growth. For healing. These people, frustrating as they are, can be some of our most powerful teachers. This chapter explores how gratitude transforms your perspective on difficult relationships. It invites you to stop asking, "Why is this person doing this to me?" and begin asking, "What is this person revealing within me?" The mirror effect, others reflect us back to ourselves. One of the most powerful realizations in emotional growth is this: people don't just show us who they are, they show us who we are. When someone triggers you, that trigger is a clue. It's a signal that something within you is being touched, an old wound, a forgotten fear, or an unmet need. For example, if someone constantly interrupts you, perhaps it stirs up old feelings of being ignored. If someone belittles your ideas, maybe it touches a part of you that doubts your worth. If someone's arrogance infuriates you, could it be reflecting your own disowned need to be seen? This is not about blaming yourself, it's about understanding yourself. And once you bring awareness to the wound, the difficult person no longer holds power over you. You can say, with growing clarity, "Thank you for showing me what still needs my attention and healing." Boundaries, gratitude with strength. Gratitude for difficult people doesn't mean allowing abuse or tolerating toxic behavior. Quite the opposite. It means acknowledging that this person is here to teach you how to speak your truth, protect your peace, and honor your emotional well-being. Many of us were never taught how to set boundaries. We were taught to be nice, to keep the peace, to avoid conflict. But difficult people challenge that conditioning. They dare us to be honest, to say no, to draw a line. Gratitude enters when you realize, this frustration is helping me grow a backbone. This conflict is helping me find my voice. This discomfort is helping me prioritize my peace. Every time you say no to drama, you say yes to self-respect. That is the hidden gift. A true story, the boss who became a catalyst. Let me tell you about Liana. She worked under a manager who constantly belittled her in meetings, dismissed her ideas, and micromanaged her every move. For over a year, she endured it in silence, afraid to rock the boat. Then one day, after being publicly corrected in front of a client, something in her shifted. That night, she didn't cry, she journaled. She wrote, "What if he's not here to torment me, but to teach me how to reclaim my power?" That single question changed everything. She didn't quit the next day. Instead, she started speaking up. She asked for clearer expectations. She began setting small boundaries, like requesting feedback in private. Her manager didn't change, but she did. Eventually, she moved to a new team. But she told me later, "He gave me the gift of confrontation. I stopped abandoning myself." That is gratitude in motion, not for the pain, but for the person it helped her become. How to shift your perspective on difficult people. Here's a simple 3-step practice to apply the power of gratitude when facing someone who challenges you. Step 1. Observe the pattern. Ask yourself, what specific behavior frustrates me about this person? When else in my life have I felt this way? What emotion keeps getting triggered? Step 2. Reclaim your power. Shift from blame to responsibility. What boundary is this teaching me to set? What strength is this calling forth in me? What truth am I being asked to speak? Step 3. Give thanks, silently or inwardly. Say to yourself, "Thank you for being my teacher in disguise. Because of you, I am becoming clearer, stronger, and more whole." Even if the relationship must end, the growth stays with you. That's the hidden blessing. When it's deeply personal, family and long-term connections. It's one thing to deal with a difficult coworker, it's another when the person is a parent, sibling, partner, or lifelong friend. In these cases, the emotional entanglement runs deep. You may feel guilt, grief, or even a sense of obligation to keep enduring their behavior. But the same truth applies. Their difficulty is still a doorway into your self-respect. Boundaries can coexist with love. You can honor someone's humanity while refusing to shrink in their presence. You can choose emotional distance as a form of self-care, not as punishment, but as preservation. Sometimes, the most profound gratitude you can offer is this: "Thank you for being who you are, because it reminded me of who I want to be." Subliminal truths to let sink in. As you reflect on the difficult people in your life, let these messages begin to rewire your inner world. They are not obstacles, they are catalysts. You do not need their approval to own your worth. Gratitude is not permission for harm, it's permission to grow. Let these affirmations nourish your emotional boundaries. I learn from those who challenge me. I choose strength over resentment. I thank the discomfort for revealing my power. Closing reflection, the teacher in the trigger. What if your most frustrating relationships were secretly your soul's curriculum? What if every push, every sting, every uncomfortable encounter was a divine setup for your elevation? That's what gratitude reveals, not through logic, but through reflection. It turns triggers into teachers. It transforms enemies into messengers. And most of all, it reminds you that your peace, your power, and your worth are never in someone else's hands. So tonight, think of that person who tests you most. Take a breath. And say quietly, not for them, but for you. Thank you for showing me where I still needed to rise. Chapter 8, Sacred Delays, Trusting the Divine Timing. We live in a world that values speed. Faster internet. Quicker delivery. Instant gratification. We've grown used to getting what we want now. So when life slows us down or puts our dreams on pause, we panic. We question. We resist. Delays feel like denials. Waiting feels like punishment. But what if the delay isn't blocking your path, it is your path? This chapter invites you to reframe the experience of delay not as failure or frustration, but as a form of sacred timing. Because sometimes, the greatest gifts arrive only after we've been made ready to receive them. Sometimes, what you think is a pause is actually protection, preparation, or positioning for something better. The myth of being behind. It's easy to believe we're falling behind. That we're late to success, to marriage, to financial security, to meaning. Social media intensifies this pressure. We see highlight reels of others' lives and think, I should be there by now. But life isn't a race. There is no single timeline. There is only your time. And when things are delayed, it's often because they're being designed. Gratitude begins when you whisper, maybe I'm not late. Maybe I'm exactly where I need to be. This simple belief calms the chaos. It brings your heart back to the moment. It makes space for the sacred to move through the waiting. When the answer is not yet. Sometimes, life doesn't say no, it says, not yet. And not yet is one of the hardest things to hear. You're ready to meet your soulmate, but the right one hasn't appeared. You've applied for jobs, but the doors keep closing. You're trying to heal, but the progress is painfully slow. In these moments, it's tempting to assume the worst. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. But pause. What if the delay is working for you, not against you? What if the relationship hasn't arrived because you're still learning to love yourself? What if the job didn't come because something better is forming behind the scenes? What if the healing is slow because it's going deeper than you even realize? Trust the delays. They may be orchestrating a reality more beautiful than you could have planned. A real-life story, The House That Waited. Sophie had been house hunting for over a year. Every home she loved slipped through her fingers, offers fell through, inspections revealed problems, or she simply got outbid. She began to question everything. But she kept a gratitude journal. And each time she lost a deal, she wrote, "Thank you for keeping me from what wasn't meant for me." Months later, a small listing popped up in a neighborhood she had never considered. Something about it felt right. She visited. The price was fair. The seller was kind. The process moved with ease. She got the keys 2 weeks later. Sophie said, "If I had gotten any of those earlier houses, I would have missed this one. The delay didn't deny me, it guided me." This is what sacred delays do. They align you with grace. 3 truths to anchor you in divine timing. When you're in the middle of a delay, here are 3 truths to hold close. 1. Preparation precedes arrival. The bigger the dream, the deeper the roots must grow. Life may be preparing you emotionally, spiritually, or mentally for what's coming. Trust the unseen work. 2. Delays build discernment. When things don't come easily, you learn to clarify what truly matters. You become more intentional. You say yes more wisely. Gratitude grows from the wait. 3. Timing shapes outcome. A flower picked too early can't bloom. A dream fulfilled too soon may collapse. Life's timing isn't random, it's intelligent. When it's time, you'll know. Transforming impatience into peace, a practice. When you feel the rising anxiety of when will it happen, try this practice. Name the wait. I'm waiting for clarity. I'm waiting for healing. I'm waiting for the next opportunity. Speak the purpose. This wait is not wasted. This time is building me. This stillness is sacred. Close with a blessing. I surrender the timeline. I open to the divine. I trust that everything I need is arriving in perfect timing. This becomes your inner sanctuary. A space where time is not your enemy, it's your ally. When waiting feels like loss. Some delays are deeply painful: infertility, prolonged illness, grief without closure. These are not just frustrating, they're heartbreaking. Gratitude here is not forced joy. It's not pretending to be okay. It's saying, even in this ache, I believe life is holding me. Even in silence, something sacred is speaking. Even in darkness, seeds are germinating. You may not feel thankful. That's okay. Gratitude at this level is a quiet trust, not a loud declaration. Let it be small. Let it be honest. Let it be enough. Subliminal seeds for trusting time. Let these quiet truths settle into your spirit. Delays do not define your worth. Waiting doesn't mean you're forgotten. Every moment has meaning, even when it's not obvious. Whisper these affirmations when doubt creeps in. I am unfolding right on time. I trust the pace of my journey. Nothing meant for me will pass me by. These aren't just affirmations, they are lifelines. Closing reflection, thank you for the wait. The next time you feel like you're stuck in a waiting room with no answers, close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart. And breathe. Then say, thank you for the pause. I don't understand it, but I trust it. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's surrender. That's how delay becomes divine. Because when the right moment comes, when the door opens, when the clarity arrives, you will realize the wait was not in the way. It was the way. Chapter 9, Living with Open Eyes, Noticing Hidden Blessings Daily. Some blessings are loud, they arrive with celebration, clear rewards, or obvious joy. But most blessings, they whisper. They're quiet, subtle, tucked into the corners of your day, the warm sunlight hitting your kitchen counter, the moment someone holds the door open, the way your favorite song starts playing at just the right time. These moments often go unnoticed, overshadowed by our rush, our routine, or our restlessness. Yet hidden blessings hold extraordinary power. When you train your mind and heart to notice them, your life begins to feel fuller, not because anything external changed, but because you did. This chapter is about awakening your inner eye, learning to see not just with your physical vision, but with grateful awareness. It's about choosing to live with attention, with presence, and with reverence for what already is. The modern blindness, why we miss so much. In today's world, it's easy to be visually overwhelmed but spiritually blind. We scroll, swipe, multitask, and absorb so much input that we often forget to look up, to breathe, to notice. And it's not because we're ungrateful, it's because we're overstimulated. Our brains filter out the ordinary in favor of the urgent. But in doing so, we overlook the beauty blooming right in front of us. Here's the truth. Gratitude begins not with more, it begins with noticing. To live with open eyes is to reclaim your power to witness the extraordinary within the everyday. Your attention is your superpower. What you focus on expands. When you focus on lack, you notice more to complain about. When you focus on beauty, you see more of it everywhere. Your attention is like sunlight, wherever you shine it, things grow. So the question becomes, where are you placing your light? A simple shift in attention can make even the most mundane task, washing dishes, walking the dog, commuting to work, feel like a sacred pause. Because when you're truly present, you begin to sense the quiet miracle of simply being alive. Gratitude turns routine into ritual. It transforms your gaze from casual to consecrated. The micro miracles of daily life. Let's pause here and imagine a single, ordinary day. Where might blessings be hiding? In the taste of your morning tea, warming your hands and your heart. In the smile of a stranger, reminding you that kindness still exists. In the sound of laughter from another room. In the comfort of your bed after a long day. In the fact that your lungs breathed over 20,000 times today without being asked. None of these blessings come with fireworks. But they are the foundation of a rich, grateful life. Real life story, the day everything was wrong. Consider Daniel, a man who once told me about the worst Monday of his life. He overslept. spilled coffee on his shirt, missed the bus, lost an important document, and ended the day with a headache and an empty fridge. But something unusual happened that night. Instead of venting, he challenged himself, "Can I find one blessing in this mess?" He wrote. "Woke up late but at least I got more sleep. Spilled coffee but I'm grateful I had coffee. Missed the bus but I walked and noticed how beautiful the sky was. Lost a document but now I've backed everything up, finally. Headache but I'm learning how much I need to slow down." By the time he finished, the headache was gone. The stress had softened. He told me, "I went to bed with a smile, not because the day was perfect but because I saw it differently." That is the power of noticing. The daily noticing practice. Want to start training your eyes to see blessings more clearly? Try this simple practice. Morning prompt. Before beginning your day, ask, "What beauty will I notice today? Who can I quietly appreciate today? What simple moment can I savor when it comes?" Set the intention to notice, and your brain will begin scanning for joy. Evening reflection. At the end of the day, reflect or journal. What was one unexpected moment of grace today? What did I overlook before that I now appreciate? What detail made me feel grounded or connected? This practice creates an ongoing cycle of awareness, where your days become less reactive and more reflective, less numb, more alive. Seeing with the heart, compassion as a lens. Living with open eyes also means seeing others more deeply. You begin to notice the courage it takes for someone to keep smiling through pain, the effort behind someone's small acts of kindness, the humanity in strangers, co-workers, and even difficult people. You begin to offer silent blessings. May this mother in the grocery line feel supported. May this man walking alone feel peace tonight. May I remember that everyone is carrying something I cannot see. This isn't just poetic, it's transformative. It expands your empathy and reconnects you with a sense of shared humanity. Gratitude no longer becomes just about what you have, but about who you are becoming. Subliminal seeds of daily grace. As you practice seeing life through the lens of appreciation, these subconscious truths will begin to root inside you. Beauty is always present, even when it's quiet. You are surrounded by more support and sweetness than you realize. Life doesn't need to be perfect to be precious. Let these affirmations guide your daily vision. I open my eyes to the blessings already here. I notice, I pause, I give thanks. My attention reveals the abundance within the ordinary. These gentle statements are not just feel-good quotes, they are calibration tools. They align your awareness with your highest self. Closing reflection. Thank you for this very moment. Right now, as you read this, something beautiful is happening. You're breathing. You're learning. You're softening into awareness. And even if the day was hard, even if your heart feels heavy, the fact that you are here still growing, still noticing, still choosing gratitude is a miracle. So tonight, before bed, try this. Look around your room. Touch something familiar, your pillow, your lamp, your book. Smile. And say, "Thank you for this moment. I am learning to see." That is living with open eyes. That is walking in quiet wonder. That is how frustration fades and blessings come into focus. Chapter 10, Becoming a Blessing Generator, sharing the energy of gratitude. By now, you've journeyed through the landscapes of frustration, discomfort, and delay. You've met your emotions with compassion. You've discovered hidden blessings in daily life. And you've begun to turn inward with new eyes, new habits, and new hope. But there's one more powerful transformation waiting for you: becoming a blessing generator. This chapter isn't just about noticing gratitude, it's about radiating it. It's about allowing your inner reconciliation to spill outward into your relationships, your home, your work, your community. Because when gratitude becomes who you are, not just what you feel, it changes everything. You move from a receiver of blessings to a creator of them. From a seeker of light to a source of it. And in that shift, you not only elevate your own life, you quietly transform the lives of others. Why giving gratitude amplifies it. Gratitude is one of the few human emotions that grows through expression. The more you share appreciation, the more connected you feel. The more you honor others, the more joyful you become. Research shows that people who regularly express gratitude experience higher life satisfaction, report fewer feelings of loneliness, strengthen their relationships and sense of belonging, improve their physical and emotional resilience. When you consciously choose to be a blessing generator, you activate what scientists call elevation in others, a contagious feeling of goodness that motivates kindness and cooperation. You become a living permission slip for others to soften, to trust, and to feel seen. Becoming a channel of upliftment. To be a blessing generator doesn't mean you have to change the world in grand gestures. It starts small. It starts with presence. Here are a few simple, high-impact ways to share your gratitude. Speak it freely, say thank you often and mean it. Tell your barista, your colleague, your child, your delivery driver. Look them in the eyes when you do. Let your words land with warmth. Write notes of appreciation. A quick message or handwritten note can lift someone's entire week. Send a message like, "I just wanted you to know I'm thankful for how you always bring humor to our team." Or, "Your friendship has been a steady light, thank you for that." Show up with thoughtfulness. Bring someone their favorite snack. Remember their important dates. Celebrate their wins, even small ones. Be generous with grace. When someone messes up, don't rush to judge. Offer patience, perspective, and forgiveness. That's gratitude in motion. Pay it forward quietly. Leave a kind note in a library book. Pay for the coffee of the person behind you. Pick up litter at the park. These small acts leave ripples far beyond what you see. Real life story, the gratitude ripple at work. Jared worked in a high-pressure finance office. Deadlines were brutal, and morale was low. He decided to start a simple ritual each Friday. He would send a personal thank you message to one team member. At first, people were surprised. Some were even suspicious. But over time, things shifted. Others began doing the same. Team meetings became less tense. People started collaborating more willingly. A culture of appreciation bloomed because one person dared to generate blessings, not just receive them. Jared told me, "I realized I didn't have to be a leader to create change. I just had to lead with gratitude." When you feel empty, generating without forcing. You might be wondering, what if I don't feel full enough to give? That's valid. There will be days when your energy is low, when your heart feels bruised, when your tank is empty. Here's the secret: generating blessings doesn't mean faking joy, it means choosing connection. Even on low days, you can smile at someone. Thank your body for carrying you. Send a thinking of you text. Whisper a silent wish for someone's peace. These don't drain you. In fact, they replenish you. When you give a blessing, you receive one, too. It's not transactional, it's energetic. The blessing generator mindset. Here are 3 core beliefs to embody as a blessing generator. 1. I always have something to give. Even if it's just a kind word or silent hope, your presence can lift others. 2. I radiate what I value. If you value kindness, be kind. If you value peace, be peaceful. If you value love, let it shine through your actions. 3. The world is better when I show up as my best self. Your energy is contagious. Your words matter. Your presence is a gift. When you live from this space, you stop waiting to be appreciated and start becoming the appreciation itself. Daily practice, blessings in, blessings out. Here's a gentle practice to carry forward. Morning intention. Before your day begins, ask, who can I uplift today? How can I be a blessing wherever I go? During the day, look for one person to thank deeply. Find one moment to slow down and offer presence. Choose one frustration and turn it into compassion. Evening reflection. Ask, where did I give from my heart today? What ripple might I have started? Write it down. Celebrate it. Anchor it. Subliminal messages of contribution and connection. As you live into your new identity as a blessing generator, let these deep truths nourish your inner world. You are not just meant to survive, you are meant to inspire. Every word of thanks you speak plants healing in the world. Your smallest acts of kindness create invisible waves of goodness. Whisper these affirmations to your heart. I am a source of calm, care, and connection. Gratitude flows through me into the lives of others. Even my quiet presence is a blessing. These aren't just words, they are the fabric of who you are becoming. Closing reflection, let your life be the thank you. Imagine a world where people didn't just wait for joy but created it. Where appreciation wasn't reserved for special occasions, but infused into everyday moments. Where you wake up not asking, what will I get today, but, how can I give meaningfully? That world starts with you. You are the blessing. You are the spark. You are the quiet revolution of gratitude in motion. So today, and every day, walk through life with open eyes, an open heart, and the gentle knowing that you make things better just by showing up fully. Let your life be the thank you. Final takeaway, let gratitude reconstruct you one blessing at a time. If you've journeyed through this book, you've walked through emotions you once wanted to avoid: frustration, delay, rejection, discomfort, conflict. But instead of pushing them away, you've learned how to reconcile with them, how to turn them into teachers, allies, even blessings in disguise. This is more than emotional comfort. This is transformation. And the biggest message of this book is this: the life you are seeking isn't found in changing everything around you, it begins by changing how you see everything inside you. When you develop the habit of gratitude not as a reaction, but as a lifestyle, you gain access to the most powerful spiritual and practical tool available to humanity. One that centers your emotions, sharpens your purpose, clears your inner vision, awakens your higher potential, and reroutes your life toward divine alignment. This is the true reconciliation between your past and your future, your pain and your peace, your temporary confusion and your eternal clarity. How to leverage this ebook for self-enhancement. Every chapter of this book was written not just to soothe but to equip. Here's how you can actively use it to upgrade your life. 1. Integrate the practices. Each chapter introduced simple yet profound tools. Nightly reconciliation ritual. Inner narrative rewrite. Daily noticing practice. Trigger to teacher reflection. Sacred delay journaling. Use them regularly. Let them become rituals, not ideas. Set reminders if needed. One 10-minute ritual before bed can shift your entire mindset. 2. Anchor a new emotional identity. You are no longer just someone who deals with problems. You are now someone who transforms experiences through gratitude. That identity changes how you walk into rooms, how you handle conflict, how you dream bigger without fear. Affirm daily. I am a blessing generator. I receive my emotions as messages. My life is rich because I see what others overlook. 3. Use frustration as fuel. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I grow from this? What's the hidden instruction in this pain?" This shift alone rewires your nervous system from fight or flight into self-mastery. Make gratitude your emotional GPS. It won't erase hard roads, but it will guide you through them with grace. Re-engineering focus through appreciation. A scattered life is often a symptom of an ungrateful life. Not because you're unkind or unaware, but because your energy leaks into resistance, regret, and overthinking. Gratitude is the plug that stops the leak. When you begin to appreciate what is, you stop wasting energy chasing what isn't. You gain clarity on what really matters, what truly fulfills you, what you're ready to release. You become focused not from discipline alone, but from devotion. Appreciation makes you laser sharp. Why? Because it eliminates noise. It aligns your vision with your soul, living toward your highest contribution. So many people die with their music still inside them. Not because they lacked talent, but because they spent their lives trying to fix what wasn't broken, instead of realizing they were already the gift. This book is your mirror, and it wants to reflect one truth. You are not here to collect regrets. You are here to contribute your presence, your healing, your story, your growth. Your legacy won't be measured by perfection but by how much light you allowed to move through you. Each act of gratitude you embody is a spark of that light. Each reframed frustration is a step toward peace. Each day lived with awareness is a form of prayer. The bigger picture, a life that says thank you. In the end, you will not remember every goal you missed, or every person who misunderstood you. You'll remember the mornings you breathed deeply and smiled for no reason. The days you forgave someone, even yourself. The quiet moments of thankfulness that made you feel close to the divine. So let this ebook not just be read, let it reconstruct your relationship with life. From reaction to reflection. From control to surrender. From confusion to clarity. From surviving to blessing. Because you are already a living answer to someone's prayer. You are already enough. And all is well. Closing blessing, while you're still alive. While you are still alive, don't waste another moment dimming your own light. Don't spend another day trying to prove your worth when you could be living it. Don't bury your power in self-doubt when you could use it to bless others. Let this be your prayer. May I walk forward with open eyes, open hands, and an open heart. May I see my frustrations as invitations. May I live my life as a quiet thank you spoken back to the one who gave it. Because the greatest gratitude is how you live. And now, you know how. All is well. All is sacred. All is God blessed. Reaching RTSG with AI assistance via WhatsApp QR code. Recommended Reinventing Ourselves YouTube video QR code.